Folks, he's alive. Don't worry. Please welcome Ami Smolaarchik. Ami, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. While people get settled, I also want to give another big thank you to Bank Leumi for being a part of this, and everyone from Bank Leumi who came, especially Tali Potter, who put everything together and made this all happen. Thank you. This is such a beautiful film. I get emotional every time I watch it, and it's really so impactful. You were trained at the Nisanativ Acting School. You're an accomplished actor who's been working in the industry, I'm going to say at least 30 years, probably. I remember back some of your early TV shows, and this movie is made, I feel, and I've heard, has been made in a completely different way. You're working here with actors who are non-actors, and I'd love to hear about that process of how this came together and how you work together and how and how working with non-actors was something that you were able to do with all of your training.
Okay, first of all, thank you. The festival invited me. I apologize about my English. I was a very bad student, like Asher, but skinny.
Misunderstood.
So it was very interesting to work with someone who saw a camera first time 1 month before shooting. And it was totally like a miracle because he had the lucky, first of all, the camera loved him very much. And about the acting, it was like a magic. I don't have an answer because I have friends who work with me 20 years in the theater, professional. They cannot play like this. Also, I think I cannot play like Asher because he's so nature, like, איך אומרים לא מקולקל, nature, yes. So it was, the balance was, I think the director, Matan Yair, was like a cooker, you know, exactly the balance about acting, professional and non-actors, Asher and all the group. And I think you know exactly what you want from Asher, and it was like a professional.
It feels, the whole movie feels extremely authentic. How close were you to script? Was Matan telling you, okay, you have to say these lines? Or were you allowed to kind of like bring yourself to it? How
me?
Yeah.
It was it's script like regular movie, no documentary at all. Even Asher is a little bit like his story. I mean, Matan, the director, would take inspiration from Asher, but Asher supposed to learn the text like me. It was a professional. The only thing that the camera was can move, that we can feel free. He gave me to feel free if I want to change a little bit, but the script was so good that I just have to say to do what right. That's it, not to give more.
So let me talk about your character for a moment in the script, and of course we don't know a lot about you. We kind of, you know, you play a very dramatic role in Asher's life, but we don't know who you are, where you're coming from. What were you told? What did you bring to it?
The first time I met the director, I asked him about, okay, now the character is suicide. Why? A lot of question. Maybe to play a sad, maybe. He didn't let me to get deep inside about what happened to the teacher. It was like, it's okay, it's here. Character maybe very sad, have maybe depression, we don't know. I had to play a professional teacher. This is what what I have to do, because it's a professional, like to play a professional taxi driver or different professional. So this is what the work for me, not about emotion, what emotion of the character, just how to stand in front guys very tough and maybe a little bit frightened from them, but I have to make the job.
That gives a lot, because I mean, you really do. I think it made that impact. The shock that we get from the moment of finding out about the suicide is really
supposed to be like a secret. I mean, you feel, but you don't know exactly that this is going to this way.
That's very true. In some ways, I think about it as a student. You see your teachers as these people who are teachers. You don't remember that they're people too, and often their characters are kind of to be teachers and to be professionals, and you forget about the human side of them. I wanted to ask about, the film has been a huge success in Israel. People love this film, and I'm so happy about that. It's because it's not your average film. I think I'm trying to remember now. Is there no music in this film? It's such a. Tell us a little bit about, like, why do you think, this is your opinion, why do you think it's been such a success? Not an easy film. I was just watching, I came back in and now at the end for this last scene. And the last scene, they're in that car, and it's like, first of all, to have your dramatic climax in a car. This is not a race scene. They're sitting there and they're eating, and the two of them are chewing, and that goes on, and they're breathing, and that goes on. That's for 5 minutes. They're not saying a word to each other. Most American audiences usually, I'm glad you guys stayed, because American audiences usually can't sit through 5 seconds of silence, 5 minutes of silence on the screen. What do you think people love about this film?
You can never know how it will be. I think nobody in the set thought that it will be very success. I also thought it's very small movie that will screen just in the Cinematheque and not in all the country in Israel. But I think there is I don't know if the audience know, but the language of the character is very like street language, and I think is very touch, and in how you say כובע עיניים.
He's eye level.
Yes,
eye level.
And I think the audience very love to see him. I mean, מרגישים רצון לאהוב אותו ולחבק אותו את אשר בגלל
They feel this need to love and to embrace Asher because of, I think it's because he's so real. He's so,
yes, it's so authentic. I think when I saw the movie, I know, but I think the audience don't know it's true, it's not true. Is an actor, wait, this is it's real or it's a script. I think this is one of the reasons that people so love this movie, because after this they still think about this and talk about this, and it's make you to think about education, about you, how you was about a student. I think this is.
I'll just share, before we take some questions from the audience, I'll share one anecdote that I've heard about Asher, and maybe you've heard this too, that the film has been such a success that he was offered roles in other films, or to be an actor. Like, agents have come to him, and where there was these opportunities for him, and he kind of had the decision, I guess a little bit of what he has to choose, the life decisions that he had in the film, and he's gone back to work for the Scaffolding company.
Yes, I think he is lucky. He understands that to work, it's a play. It's not. It's okay. I think he have a job. He love his job. I think he had the lucky, because it's very difficult. I think he asked me all the time. I told him, listen, you try, but You don't must
Should have
push.
switched for a day. Let him act. And you should do some scaffolding work. So he did all of his own stunts. That's also impressive. We'd love to take some questions. There's a microphone in the audience. I see a lot of hands up.
Well, I loved the movie. It was fantastic. So the relationship with the father, is that the father also a non-actor? And what do you think the director, the writer, is the same person, right? Matan wrote it. Do you know what his message really was? What did he try to tell the Israeli public?
It's very difficult answer because I'm an actor, I know just what my opinion. The father is totally an actor, very famous in Israel.
Comedian, by the way.
Comedian, we play together in the National Theater also. His name is Yaakov Cohen. The group, the student, they are non-actors. And all the other, the teachers and the amenahelet,
Principal.
yes, they are actor.
They're actors.
I think Matan, this is what I heard from him. He want to, he's a teacher. Besides, he's in cinema, making a movie. When he start to teach in the school, he feel, איך אומרים, שקוף. הוא הרגיש שקוף.
Transparent?
Yes, he feel like nobody see him. And also he saw this in the student that he teach, that nobody really. And I think this is, first of all, this is the story I want to tell about two people that nobody really see them. And I think there is a lot about what I think. If we really open איך אומרים, דיון, discussion, will be many idea why he make the movie. I think there is a lot of open. I don't know exactly why, but I think this is. It start from this story.
I will add on, when we showed the film here at our Real Abilities Film Festival, which is a disability film festival, you watch it through that prism. You're going to see the film as a story that actually is about education. And there's that's a whole huge theme to follow throughout the film. And I remember after the film, we were discussing a little bit the conversation about how he took that test at the end and how he was understanding something and trying to understand something and trying to express something and what he had inside of him and how different forms of education didn't let him fit in. And you need the right kind of teachers to allow him to fit in certain ways and to find ways for him to be able to express himself and to be appreciated. And I think that alone is a huge message to bring to the audience of showing the world how somebody is understanding something in possibly, for him, it's not important if it's a donkey or a horse or whatever it was. For him, there was a process there of taking this seriously and understanding it. And that doesn't work for every kind of, it doesn't fit into every box. And maybe that's a problem with education. Sabrina, we have a question up there.
But you have to realize that Asher was suffering from Asperger, or he was a high-functioning autistic. And if you look at him at that way, the way he behaved, the way he acted, the brusque manner, the inability to comprehend feelings of other people, and his emotion concentrated on his teacher. The one thing I do find a little bit that I've been a little bit manipulated, they made him a scaffolding man so he could climb into the window and get the letter. So they prepared us. They gave him a scaffolding job, so they prepared him so he could he actually works in scaffolding, but they prepared us so he could climb into that window and get that letter and so forth and so on. But bottom line, Asher was a high-functioning autistic personality.
Well, we're not going to diagnose him here. I don't know if that's exactly the diagnosis. There's definitely things to diagnose, I would say. But I actually, what you're bringing up as far as this is the beauty of it. You called it, I think, manipulative, but actually I call that good writing. That's classic writing too. You put something at the beginning to let it follow up. If you just had him climb in through a window at the end and break into a house, you'd say, hey, where does he know how to break into houses from? If you have him build it, then all right. We had another question.
Hello.
Yes.
No, he's down there. You see.
Okay. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Is it mine?
It's right here with the microphone.
Thank you. The movie was fabulous. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I had a question about the foreshadowing of the suicide of the teacher, because that it seemed that when the class was asking questions of the teacher about his personal life, his age, his marriage status, his children, the question that Asher asked him about whether he had children and why he didn't have children, you seemed in that, with respect to that particular answer, to have a very pained response. And so while I didn't expect the suicide at all, when I understood there was the suicide, it made me immediately think of the question about children. Now, I know the movie doesn't answer it, the script doesn't answer that, but did you, as far as your performance, put an emphasis on that particular question?
My acting about when they ask, I think, not sure. I think this is the way I take the teacher, very close man. And if he is a professional, he will not tell the story, the real story every day, the student. So it's a moment that the student push him and they want, why you like this? Why? And it was like, I don't know, maybe a moment that he was a little bit open. I don't think this is the reason that he suicide. This is what I think.
Was there any moment where you would say your character was not professional? Was having a moment where suddenly those emotions that drove him to suicide are shown?
Yes, I think this is one of the reasons that when I work with Matan Yair, he said, this is a moment that you a little bit fall, because when you're a teacher and you have to all the time strong, say what you have to learn to teach, and it's like a private moment. I remember I asked Matan why there is the moment that I put I didn't know why in the script, what behind of this, because my thought he was after he
Embarrassed?
Yeah, after he embarrassed the teacher in the school, will be very strong that we will not see after this what happened, because there is a little bit closure with Asher. Asher said, sorry. I said, okay, I think this, I asked him why? Because he wanted that will be a teacher, no remazim,
No hints?
Yeah, but everybody can think different why suicide.
What was in that letter? I want to know.
He said it was a deep. He said something about the
Felt alone? Felt alone? Felt alone. We have time for one last question? Yep. All right.
Couple of questions. How did they find Asher? How did they scout him?
Asher was a student. He's a student, and he take all the inspiration when he was a student Matan Yair. when he started to wrote the script, he told Asher, if it will be, I want you to play the movie. So just he's a student, he liked it very much.
Another quick question. You didn't have music in the movie. Was it a handheld camera like Dogma, the Danish movement, or?
It wasn't Dogma, but it was all the time on the...
Handheld,
Yes.
yeah. When it's fluid, he said the camera was very fluid and
Yes, and the light was all the time, that,
Oh, so
that
it was like-
everybody can feel free. And yes, there's no music. It's nice.
beautiful. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Ami.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. We look forward to seeing you more this week. Have a good night.
Get released in the United States?
What?
Will the film come to the United States to a movie theater?
Yes.
The film is being released in the United States in the fall. It's supposed to be released.